There's a lot of case studies, a lot of ROI kind of numbers and kind of stories to tell of how this has been really increasing efficiency and building trust, and also saving a lot of money from the OEM perspective. So I think that when you win a lot of awards and a lot of these OEMs are starting to recognize that AI is a tangible thing, they can implement it, and specifically in the field of vehicle inspections, it just makes sense. It just makes sense to drive a car through a machine rather than having subjective experiences of people wasting times to be able to look below or around a car when you can do it within seconds. So if anything, it just reinforces that this is here to stay and it's working well. And it's a standard now for the industry.
That's something that we're really starting to hear more and more in the industry. And I really think a lot of that, and I've heard it firsthand from our dealers, there's been all of this emphasis and focus put on the drivetrain EV portion of the battery, right? I mean, in terms, we talk a lot about range, we talk about energy density, we talk about the time that it takes to recharge. And I think because of all of that focus on the technology and who's going to come out on top, I think as a result of that, we've kind of overlooked the 12-volt battery with all that focus on the res portion of the drivetrain.
So this is exciting because continuing the focus on data collection methods, furthering the work to tie them into larger databases that bring that information together, the deployment of AI analytics to support the identification of relationships and trends. I'm really excited about full-scale enterprise data analytic platforms like Palantir, for example, that do this. And I think things are certainly moving in that direction. I'm seeing more operations and manufacturing being tied into MES or manufacturing execution systems. So collecting more data, I'm seeing more data points being collected that weren't previously gathered. And I'm excited for the possibility to tie a singular warranty case event back perhaps to a period of time in which a build operator went to install a bolt and found it wouldn't thread and tossed it in the scrap bin.
And so our business systems team, they're ingrained with our stakeholder teams. And so for our first phase of the program, we showed up in staff meetings. We were there on plant floors. We were there in labs day in and day out. So we partnered with our global parts return team, supplier recovery, engineering, our labs, our supplier quality teams. And not only did we partner, we championed new work that came out of this. We helped lead some of the business processes until we landed on solutions and owners, and we weren't afraid to make big changes and to challenge everybody involved in the process. And we did what we said we would do. We completed the pilot in 12 months. We paid back the investment given to us, and we moved forward quickly and delivered the solution and the promised savings for the program. And so because we are business-led, we're tightly linked to business KPIs.
I think it was obviously you needed to show performance and data and how things were progressing, but something that was also resonated quite well with the executives was to tell the story behind the numbers. So, really working at putting a face, a customer, to the different, to the data, right? Because one thing to look at numbers and see how we're performing, but when you're able to tell the story behind that with real people and how, whether our shortcomings or our successes are impacting them, I think that's even more powerful.
On the 6th, 7th, 8th, whatever time that happens to be, that conversation takes place. And this time we've reached a different decision. This time, Mr., Ms. Customer, you need a new battery. I think the customer will be very open to that discussion. The flip side of that is if the first time you have the conversation in the service lane is to say, we tested your battery and now it's bad and it needs replacement, I don't think that demonstrates the same trust in having a repeatable process built. So I think, the safety power diagnostics is good because that's going to lead to more accurate conversations with EV testing, but I really think the basic process needs to be repeatable, and it needs to demonstrate trust to the customer.
Hardware life cycles are measuring years, right? We are providing a warranty coverage for 36 months or 60 months or up to 8 years when it comes to electric vehicle components such as the high voltage battery. While software evolves weekly or monthly, right? And it is not as specific on you're not going to continue getting updates to fix bugs, after 36 months. I think that is an obligation, and that is what the expectation, as I was saying, that is what the expectation would be from our customers. So coverage should reflect the difference. Hardware is more susceptible to fatigue or customer habits, driving habits, environmental conditions. So it's very difficult to treat it the same way as software, right? But we have a great opportunity to create a better customer experience when it comes to software. And I think that's something that we, as an industry, should lever on that.
Map Connected overall, it's been a key part in our transformation journey, and we've learned so much, right? And so any amount that we can give back to other people so that they can work on their transformation journeys or take lessons learned and be a more effective company and help make warranty easier, right, for our service partners, essentially, because of that then drives customer satisfaction, right? And for all of us, that's very key. And myself as a customer, I want to have a good experience when I take my car to the shop and there's warranty on it. We want to provide that same value. So yeah, anything we can do to help others learn from the success of this program, we're more than happy to share our journey.
It was not just about systems. It was really about shifting mindset around, ownership, accountability, and as I mentioned, customer life cycle value. So I think that, doing these two things really allowed us to scale more efficiently. We were able to improve satisfaction, create consistency across markets, but again, right, still keeping the, empowerment locally to a certain degree.